All ready to go? Excited?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Let's crack on.
Fire away, God.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of the RGM Experience podcast with me, Carl Maloney, the host of the Shindig. And I'm here with three knackered lads that have just got back from Isle of Wight, and they've been, and then they had to start work straight after. And then thanks for joining us today, lads. I know it's been, you've you've had a lot on.
No worries, man. We're happy to be here.
Yeah, cheers, lads. Thank you. Thank you. So we've got Ben, Jamie, and Niall with us today. Niall might have to leave. He's on a work break. If he gets cold, we might start with you then, Niall, if that's all right, mate. If you might.
Yeah, man. That's cool.
Brilliant. Well, I know you're fresh from Isle of Wight, and I just wanted to go around the room a little bit. I know Nathan can't join us tonight, but we'll start with you, Niall. Just tell us about. Let's go right back before Spangled. How did you get into music when you were young? Niall, just fresh into the world. Talk us through your little journey.
So, like my mum and my dad, I think, like they're obviously the ones that, like, your parents are the ones who influence your music taste the most. And my mum and my dad's music taste is so like diverse and strange that I think I just adopted the best bits of it. So like my mum and dad, like, they really like heavy metal, goth, punk, and they're both massive like Joy Division fans as well. So I think that's where I picked up on how much like they've had a massive influence on my music, the way that I write bass lines and do music and stuff. And I think like even just like, you know, you like just listening to the radio with your mum and your dad and them singing along to a song and you're like, oh, I quite like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's sort of it, you know. Yeah.
So did you just treat yourself to a bass amp at one point? Because I know when you start a band, sometimes you can end up playing an instrument you never imagined just because a band needs that kind of instrument. What do you know? I started playing bass because I was like 16. I'd just gone through what I thought was the worst breakup I'd ever go through. Oh, sorry.
So I was like,
it wasn't.
It wasn't. So I was just like, I need a complete change in personality. I'm going to get really into music. Okay. And then I started watching like little punk bands and stuff and seeing guys play bass and play it terribly. I think I can do so much better than that. So I decided that that's the instrument that I wanted to pick up. And
what do you mean by little punk band?
Like I just see like little ones, like, because you'd go to like the little, like you go to Atma and that, and you'd see like a new punk band every night, and you'd see it, and you'd just be like, yeah, I can do that. Like, I think that was sort of my main influence, was like, I can do that.
And we were right into music at school and all that kind of stuff, even before that?
Nah, I didn't care at all until I was 16. Like, music was just background to me. But yeah. I don't know, something switched, and then all of a sudden it's all I can think about nowadays.
Yeah. Go on then, Ben, lead singer of the band. Talk us how it all happened for you, mate.
I wish I had some sick superhero origin story, but I've literally, like, now I was 16, I was 18. So I was like, I didn't even really give one about music at all. I mean, I like hip hop and I like grime, and that was what I was into. And then for some reason, on one magical, fateful night, I just started drinking, right? And I'm like, turned 18. And then I just like, I went to, 42's, a club in Manchester with my mates. And I just remember not knowing the words to any of the tunes there. I remember thinking like, oh, right, cool. And then you find yourself the next morning, like, just listening to more indie tunes. And then like, that's basically how it is. I got indie friends who just sort of got me on it. And I latched onto it from there.
So it was indie boys.
Yeah, that's it pretty much. And I was the outcast of it. And now I'm like in an indie band, and they're just still getting drunk to like the tunes. And I'm just there like, hello.
It's funny, isn't it? When you like, this band's created so far. Nathan's Jamie's going to give us his story in a bit, but it's funny that you weren't right into, you weren't like, it weren't written, music grabbed you at some point in your life. It's a passion.
Yeah.
It's a thing music,
It,
isn't it? It grabs you and you can't
yeah,
never lets go.
that's it. It just knocks on the door and you open
Doesn't
and you're
it?
like, hello. And then I
So,
invite him in for a brew, and me and music, we're just like two peas in a pod now.
yeah.
Who'd have thought it?
And Jamie, tell us about yours then, Jamie lad.
Mine started a bit further back. I was probably like 8 or 9, and I was pestering
Here
my
we
dad
go.
for
Someone born into music. Here we go. Let's have the full story, mate.
I was pestering my dad for a drum kit for ages and ages, but they obviously decided that was really loud, and they heard that these amplifiers could be switched off, and then it'd be really quiet. So they ended up getting me a guitar like one Christmas, and then that was it. Then up until that point, though, I'd still had like a keen interest in music. I sort of remember hearing Bohemian Rhapsody for the first time when it was like 5 or 6 on like this old crappy radio, and it was like a cassette. And I remember listening to it and thinking, how someone come up with this? It just sounded like nothing I'd ever heard in my life before. And it was sort of from like that point onwards that I was sort of obsessed with music. And I've gone through like loads of phases of like in different styles, different bands, and stuff like when I was growing up, I liked a bit of the Darkness, Queen, bands like that, like more the hard rock stuff. Then I liked AC/DC, Black Sabbath, and then when I was a teenager, I was really into Hendrix. And then towards like the sort of later teen years is when sort of Ben and his family got me into like the Stone Roses, believe it or not. And at that point, I was like, yeah, this is for me.
It's funny, isn't it? I've always fancied the piano, but it's too hard for me, mate. I had to stick to rhythm guitar because it's quite easy.
Yeah, I mean, the piano is a different beast. I can't really play that other than on the Mac when I'm trying to do a song and I'm just pressing keys. I'm like, yeah, let's give it a go. And then I trick myself into thinking, I can probably play that in real life. And then I get in front of like a keyboard. I'm like, nah, no.
Well, I like to know the origins of a band and how you thought about music. I first started music. My dad used to play not cornet in a brass band. Then I was told my lips weren't right to play the cornet. I wanted to follow him and play the same instrument thing because it's a cool little thing. But I ended up doing a tenor horn, which is not really a cool instrument to walk about.
Is that the big boy? Is that the fat, the massive one?
It's not like one of the big umpire things. It's like in between it.
Ah, yeah.
So I went on to that. I could read music for one. I used to read music in a brass band, which were interesting. And then got to 15, 16. I just wanted to play the guitar then. I just like the guitar.
Wait, I thought Hornet was a wasp. Is that an instrument?
Cornet, C on it, mate. Cornet.
Cornet.
Yeah, like an ice cream thing, like a cornet. But it's one of them like a horn. It's a bit like a horn. Do it.
Right. I thought you said hornet. I was like, a wasp.
So how did the band come together then? How did you talk us through the mechanics of you lot getting together?
Well, it all started when Jamie was in another band when we were in school.
What was the band name?
Oh, it was the Queen Anne's Revenge. It was very like hard rock type band. We sort of thought we were Guns N' Roses, but we weren't.
Okay.
And they were rubbish. And I went to one of their gigs. I went to one of their gigs again. Like this is before I was into music, and I think we were like 17, 18. And I was just there to heckle Jamie, really. But like, I was there with my friend, and we were just watching him. And I just remember thinking, like, I could probably do a better job than like looking at the front man as well, thinking like he's not even doing anything. He's just stood there, like it's just. It was no offense, but it was shocking, Jamie. Sorry, mate. I love you. But you're in a better place now, man. I'm here. Don't worry, Benji's here. And then me and Jamie, I think that ended within like a year, didn't it? Or something. I don't know the ins and outs.
I've been doing it a couple of years with him, but it sort of like came to its natural conclusion.
Oh, we're just going to ask how did it end then?
No, it wasn't like we got into like a bar fight and then the teeth were knocked out. No, it was just like
I kicked the door down. I burst in the room, kicked the door down, and like, get out.
Sunshine.
Me and Jamie were like at the pub one day, and like when you're like a few pints deep, and then you just go, "We should start a band." Like we should start a band, and then do you reckon you could be a front man? I was like, yeah. He's like, do you reckon you could sing? And I was like, probably. I've never tried. And then he came round to my house with a little acoustic, and we had a little jam. And my voice was shocking, it turns out. I knew I could like develop that. It was just a muscle in it, so you just train it. And then we thought we'd go to a studio. And once we got into the studio and we got like a little jam session going, we were like, we should definitely get an actual band and like get some more members going. And then and then we obviously met Nathan, who I think Jamie already knew from jamming with another band or something like that. I don't know. And then obviously Niall, we know Niall from like a mutual friend, and he rocks up and based our socks away. And then
how did you find it joining like two people that knew each other, Niall? How did you find it, mate?
Oh, mate, first time I joined, I thought I'd made a terrible mistake. Like the jokes that these guys make are stupid, but once you find like, I think
you have to acclimatize to all that bullshit, do you?
Yeah, they're just the stupidest, not funny jokes. But then as soon as you start appreciating the jokes, then the whole band really fit. You know what I mean?
We could talk in a different language to you today, Carl, if we really wanted to, and it would make sense to us. But it would not make a single bit of sense to you.
Yeah, our producer Gareth, last time with him, he was like, when I first met you guys, I thought you were like quoting films, but it turns out you're just not. You're just waffling on.
Well, tell us something. Right, I want to go around the room a little bit, so I'll start with you, Niall, just in case. Tell us something about each member that you discovered after joining the band. So, Niall, you have to pick Ben and Jamie, and then we'll move around.
Okay, so I discovered that after being in a band with Jamie for 3 years, I still don't actually know what he does for a living. He's told me, but I just don't get it. I've discovered that Nathan is a very delicate soul and a lovely boy, but my God, does he get on my nerves sometimes. And I've discovered that Ben's sense of humor is the worst and best sense of humor in the world.
Okay. Good answers. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Go on.
Well, I've learned about Nathan that he's actually a bit of a crackhead, right? And
I wasn't expecting that.
He loves Monster energy drinks, and he doesn't stop drinking them, like constantly Monster energy drinks. And every time we see him, he's just he's got a Monster energy drink. And like, you know, when you see bands like how they drink beer all the time, that's him, but with Monster energy drinks. And it's like, it's just not a good combo sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
worrying.
And he's very like, hi guys, and you're like, oh. He's a good lad still. I'll sit right. So the Jamie one's a bit harder because I knew Jamie before the band.
Okay.
So since joining the band, I'll tell you what I have learned is he loves walking slow when we've got to go somewhere quick.
Oh my God.
He's always like 3 miles behind. You like look at him and he's just got a blank face and he's like, I don't care.
I'm taking the scenery in, man. That's all I'm doing. Taking the scenery in.
Watching the world back. Go on then, Jamie. Tell it. You give us yours for those two.
You've already covered most bases. Like with Ben, I already knew most there is to know about Ben before joining the band. But it was nice to discover as well that he was as determined as I was to try and do something with the band. Because when I first started it, I thought, oh yeah, I'll give it a few weeks, and then Ben will be like, nah, not for me, not ours. Whereas he's just thrown himself all the way in, which is nice to see. I've discovered that Niall is far more talented than I'll ever be, which is irritating in itself.
I don't know if that's true.
And Nathan, I just have to sort of like echo what Niall said. He's like the most gentle giant on the planet. Like when you first meet him, he's like this 6-footer, and you look at him and you think,
Yeah.
he's gonna kick the shit out of me. But then it's just like, come here and give me a hug. But yeah.
I think if it,
So, yeah.
when I had Spangled on one of the really early gigs of RGM when we had you on a few times,
Yeah.
I think Nathan was the first one to arrive once, and he was just this big
Ginger.
character stood in front of you, and I'm just like, "Hello, you okay? Are you with the band?" You know, when you meet, sometimes when you have a band on, you've not met them in face to face, or you've just seen them on Facebook, so you don't really know exactly what they're all going to look like. So it's just like,
Yeah.
"Can I help you, sir? I just thought you were a bouncer or something like that." And he's like, "Nope, I'm with the band." Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's so nice as long as you don't cross him. If you cross him, then you may as well be 6 feet under.
Well, he proper hurt his back last time, and then he was still playing drums and going for it. Is his back all right?
He's very injury prone.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a new injury before every gig and after every gig.
Michael Owen is the Michael Owen of the band. He's out every few weeks.
Love it. Well, I always talk about on this podcast the journey of a band and that kind of stuff, and I know where my place is within the industry, and it's always going to be at grassroots levels, and it's always going to be at a stage when a band's probably just starting out, or they're just doing gigs, and there's no real structure behind the band, and that's kind of when I came across Spangled, weren't it? That we did it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it would have been like the back end of 2019 or something like that, which was just after we sort of got going. I spoke to it was sort of like a friend of a friend, the guy called Matthew Buckley, and he's the drummer from the Cobra Sets. And I said, we've just started and we need to get some gigs. Do you know anyone? And your name was like one of the first ones that popped up, and then it just sort of like it went from there. So it's nice to sort of see other people like from the Manchester sort of scene that sort of like give you a shout, or basically like if you want to start somewhere, like RGM's a good place to start.
It's you've kind of got to. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like the word promoter, but we do promote gigs and we do sell tickets. Yeah. We do try and put on a show, so it is what it is. The word promoter doesn't sit right with me because I just want to. It's another arm of RGM putting gigs on and meeting bands and going out and discovering new bands, which is what the magazine's all about as well.
Yeah,
and I kind of think some promoters can get a bit above themselves quite quick after they've had a successful gig and think they're going to, I don't know, start selling out Deaf Institute or bigger venues and that kind of thing straight away, and then start, I don't know, getting a bit weird about it all. But I just like to, and I'm gonna stop in my little place, the grassroots level, like bands like you were at the time, just helping them get to the next level. And
yeah,
I don't think there's enough of us doing that at the minute.
Oh yeah, definitely. Without people like you and others, it's hard for people to get started, and you need those kind of people who they're just in it to like see the new bands and try and help people out. We've been lucky in that regard. Like we've come across people like yourself and a few others as well that they've just got like the best intentions with new bands, which is what you want, really.
Yeah, you don't want these businessmen, do you, getting involved?
No, I hate corporate people with a passion.
They're hard work. Hard work.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you.
Well, thanks for giving us a little bit of insight with who introduced you to me. I didn't realise it with the Cover Sets lads, and I've had a strong relationship with them over the years. We've had them on in Sheffield with when they were unheard of, really. Had them on at Frog and Parrot a few times, and then a few little gigs in the Castle as well before they started selling out gigs in 5 minutes.
In
Manchester. So I like the fact that bands like the Cover Sets, bands like you guys now that are proper, you're selling out gigs in Manchester and spreading your wings further afield. I like that. I like the work we do there. It's you've got to pat yourself on the back sometimes, and I think I like being in the space where we are. It suits what we're trying to do at RGM. I think we are be a bit being too sycophantic about it all.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a nice little community, isn't it? Everyone helps each other. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and you guys were on the last gig we did just before pandemic. I think everybody's like, "Oh, this virus is about, something's going to kick off," and it was on the Friday before all the venues closed down. I think one of my last gigs.
Yes, the 13th of March.
You guys on Rosellas, and they're just proper going for it all out there. Another band that are just amazing and just cracking on. So yeah, I just appreciate the relationship, lads. I don't, and I just like watching you go to that next level now, which is, you know, you've got a strong relationship with this feeling. You're doing, you're headlining my Tramlines gig in Sheffield. You're getting out of town. How does it feel for you guys now? Now there's a bit of progression and things are moving a little bit for you.
I think for us it was always sort of like it not to sound rude, but it was not a surprise. You know what I mean? We've always had that ambition to that we're sort of going to get to a certain level, and we get the sense when we're together that it's not if, it's when for us now. Especially now we get the ball rolling, and we're constantly just as a band we just get better and better. Literally, like not even every year, every 6 months we just find ourselves writing better tunes and just coming up with just better ways to like sort of entertain people. And this just feels like natural progression now. Like I don't think any of us feel out of place or anything. We're all pretty much still in our comfort zone.
I think one area where you've excelled, Ben, is the performance side of it. Compared to when I saw you really at the beginnings of it, and now you're just like climbing stuff all over the place, just like proper high kicks and all that kind of stuff. You put on such an amazing amazing show up there. It's great to see you blossom as well as a personality.
Yeah. Well, thank you. But you become accustomed to sort of expressing yourself in certain ways, and if someone's paying money to come and see us, then they're getting a show. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, they're not going to get someone who's just stood there. Like Spangled are about that. Spangled are about energy and about putting a smile on people's faces, and that's what we've done since we started, and that's what we'll do until the end. Yeah.
How does it feel for you, Niall?
Honestly, it's like since joining, I was like, I can feel that this is not just going to sort of burn out and then nothing will come of it. Like I had a feeling that this one was probably going to be quite a special like group, and like I've never been more right in my life, you know.
He swigs a can of Monster.
It's just one of them where it's like it just feels right. Like everything we do feels like 100% the right step in the right direction. And we've made mistakes, but I don't think they're like anywhere near as sort of big or, you know, as impressive as the amount of progress we've made in actually what is such a short time that we've been together.
In what way did you make a mistake?
Well, I mean, like nothing major, just like, you know, when you do something, you look back on it, you're just like, probably would have done that a bit different.
But, yeah, there was even like at Isle of Wight, Jamie got stuck in the toilet. And
perfect. Let's have the full story, please, boys. The full story.
I don't even know how it happened. I must have chosen the only one with a latch on the outside. Who puts a latch on the outside of a portal anyway? Like, what kind of psychopath does that? Like, I went back the next day and I looked at them all. I said, there's literally one with a latch on the outside. None of the others had it. But for whatever reason, I stumbled in there and just went to the toilet as you do. And then I went to get out and the door wouldn't move. I was like, it's a bit weird. And then I just kept pressing against it. And then I could see, like, through the gap in it, like, the latch had, like, just shut itself, like, from the outside. And I was just...
One of your lot.
Well, I don't know. Like in my head, I was like, "Is one of the boys just like snuck up behind me and locked me in here, or has the toilet just like chosen violence today and just shut itself on me?" So I was in there for like 10 minutes. I didn't want to cause a scene because I'm not kind of, I don't like sort of causing a fuss or anything. So I just sort of like quietly sat there, like anxiety building, like I'm fucking stuck in this toilet, and no one's coming to save me. Ben's got like 10 missed calls. He's batting. He's not looking at his phone. Yeah. Niall's the same. I've texted him multiple times, like, help, let me out of here. Then, like, 15 minutes later, someone finally opens the door, and it's like some 10-year-old girl is just like, oh my God. She's like, she shits herself because she's like, what the fuck is this person doing just standing in front of the door of the toilet? I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. I've been stuck in there for ages. Yeah, that was that. It was the most horrendous 50 minutes of the festival.
Yeah, me and Al and Nathan have perfectly good alibis for that story. So we were actually just elsewhere. We weren't locking any toilet doors from the outside.
There's no way I can prove or disprove that either, mate. That's just how it's going to be, isn't it? That story.
Just the way it is.
It's just the magic of festival season, isn't it?
So tell it to Isla White then. We touched on it there. So just tell us about how it was this year.
It was, I think, I mean, I'm just going to speak for myself. I can't speak for everyone. But for me, this year was more than a gig. It was like a tribute, and it was like a landmark in all of our lives. Because obviously what happened last year, like, we knew that if we were going back, we were going to make it the best show that we could possibly make it. And I think we achieved that, to be honest.
We did pretty good. I think it's the first time like I get nervous before gigs, but this was definitely the most nervous I've ever been for anything. Like when we played like the Academy 2 with the K's, that was great. That was just and there was like 900 people there, and we just ran on the stage. It was great. Whereas this time, I don't know, there was more nerves than what there normally would be, and I think that'll be like out of all the gigs we ever do, that'll always be the most nervous I've been because it just meant more than the other ones that we've done.
Yeah, definitely, man. It felt like we knew it was obviously our first headliner, but at the same time we were like, right, okay, this is like everyone. Not only did we know it was a tribute to our dad, but it'd been set in everyone else's head as well. Like this is a tribute to Ben's dad. Like this performance now, like there's not a lot riding on it, but there's going to be a lot of emotion coming out of it. And we knew people were expecting an emotional performance, and we're not used to that. We're used to people expecting high, like sort of octane energy, which is what they got anyway. But at the same time, there was that sort of that emotion was underneath it, and I think it came out, especially in Good Life Better as well. I think it sort of hit home for a few of us, and it was really like it was emotional, and like I said, it was good to pay tribute, and
Yeah, man. So, just looking back over the festival and, what happened last year, it's been mentioned and, are you comfortable mentioning what happened to people that might not know about the story, Ben, or do you want to leave it?
Yeah.
It's completely, whichever way you want to go with it, mate.
Yeah. So we were at the festival last year and my dad was the roadie. So my dad drove us to the festival. We were playing the same stage. We were playing this feeling stage at Isle of Wight. And we did the gig on the Saturday. And then that Saturday night, my dad passed away in his sleep. So we've all, me, Niall and Jamie went out to enjoy the festival. And then we've come back to sort of the news that my dad had died. And it was sort of, obviously, it was shocking for all of us. But it's pretty traumatizing experience. And I think we had that sort of in the back of our minds as well, going back to the Isle of Wight festival this year. We were like, well, we've been once and it was like the most traumatic experience of all of our lives. And we're coming back 9 months later to headline. And it's sort of like that rests on your head. Like I don't think any of us were expecting to have as good a time as we had. We were sort of expecting like say, like raw emotion and sort of like just to be in our feelings all the time. But it wasn't that wasn't the case at all. Like as soon as we got in the car and the sun was shining and the tunes were playing, it was literally like, and we got to the island and that sort of that dull sense that was there on the Sunday that we left, and sort of that emptiness wasn't there anymore. It was sort of a sense of like new beginnings rather than something ending. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, and everything we do, every gig we do in my head is a tribute to my dad because he was our biggest fan. He came to every gig anyway. So I still see him there, but instead of being in the crowd now, I sort of get the sense that he's on stage with me, and he's enjoying it just as much as the rest of us are.
But at the time we reached out, we're really sorry about your loss. Just being in the band, did it help you like work through everything after such a tragedy to happen to you? Did the band?
Yeah. So there's two ways you can go in there. You can either like sort of lie down and let the world swallow you up, or just carry on going in an upward direction. And it was never going to be the first option for me. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that type of person. So I always need something to like focus on and keep me busy, and the band helped me do that. And the fact that his last day was watching us play a major festival, and just to see how proud he was, it was sort of like I understood the assignment. Do you know what I mean? And it was a very wholesome death. if you like, and that's like I say, I carry that with me everywhere we go.
Yeah, well said, mate. And just moving forward a little bit there. So the band, just over the last 12 months, just from last year, it's pretty much bang on a year since Isle of Wight last year. You've grown so much as a band, and I've seen physically that growth develop into being more professional as a band, doing EPs, doing music videos for everything that comes out as well. You look like you have a lot of fun when you're doing these music video, lads. Am I right?
Yeah, we have a lot of fun every time we meet up. To be honest with you,
the studio is a lot of fun. We really enjoy that. Like we just go to Wigan, we see Gaz. As soon as you see Gaz, there's pure love on his face. He's like, the boys are back.
Yeah.
And then we go out, we get some pies, we get some red stripes, and then we just crack on and just make the wackiest tunes that we can make. And that's what I love about it. I like as well that our like sound live as well as like energetic and raw. Like we throw like this kitchen sink at like what we're doing in the studio, but then when we do it live, there's no sort of like jiggery pokery involved. It's just guitars, bass, drums, and vocals. Like it just hits hard. Like there's not as many bands out there anymore where there's not really that many electronics involved. Like they all tend to have like a little bit of, I don't know, like some keyboards or like pads and synthesizers and stuff in the background, which obviously we use like in the studio because it helps fill the sound out and it adds a bit of energy to it. Whereas when we do it live, I just love how raw it is. It's just bare bones, like rock and roll.
When I got sent the EP, which I love, I thought it's going to have a lot more production in this one because it's all like themed around space and stuff in it. So I thought, yeah, here we go. There's going to be like loads of different stuff going on, and they're in, like you said, Jamie, just like it's just the band. There's no, like you say, chicken poker. There's no like massive production on it or anything like that. But where did like the space themey vibe come from? Is that?
Oh, we love it. Me and Ben bloody love space. Like, it's just a wonderful, wonderful place, and it's so. You just can't comprehend it.
How do you know you've never been? Shocking. Second there, and you'll blow up. Space is wonderful. Is it? It scares the bloody daylights out of me.
Would you go if Elon Musk said, "Right, we're ready to take people to Mars now"? Would you go on it? If you could
100%.
You'd go. We'd have to get like a few crates of red stripe, I think.
Yeah, no, that's like a hella long journey. Like that's months. But yeah, that imagine.
Would you go to space or not?
If I'd go to space, if these lads went.
I'd go space.
Niall would. He's not bothered. I know.
Oh wait, Niall's going. No, I'm not.
I'm really sorry, boys, but I've got to go.
Niall, mate, all the best, pal.
It's been an absolute delight, Carl.
You're welcome,
boys.
Bye, then.
Waggy.
Niall's just off to work. The work of caught him. So yeah, Nathan, would you go to space? And I didn't quite catch your reply there.
Not me or Ben.
You. Okay, yeah. So Jamie, you. Sorry, I'll keep saying wrong names.
Nah, it's all right, man. Yeah, I'd definitely go to space. It'd scare me as well, but I just feel like it's so weird and wonderful.
So normally, like during the takeoff thing, like I just wouldn't be like there for it. Joey, I'd be like, no. Yeah. And I feel like it's like an airplane. As soon as you're comfortable and you're in like a steady pace, I'll be like, oh, that was easy. But
have you done things like skydives or out like that before, you two? Have you done out like that?
Oh,
no. I fell off a big curb when I was in America. I don't think I was. Yeah, I rolled my ankle in Hollywood.
Over there, aren't they? Like in America, the curbs are like hot and they're up to your hip.
Yeah, but it's not space, mate.
I don't know, mate. Well, isn't it?
Okay, fair enough. Good challenge.
Space is just one big American curb.
Right. So what's coming up for Spangled then at the minute? Just talk us through obviously you'll probably have stuff that you can't talk about, but is there anything that you can talk about and mention? And I'm just interested to know what's coming next. That's all.
We've got Sheffield in a few weeks for you guys,
Yep.
which we're buzzing for.
Trameline's Fringe from Barrett.
There it is, beautiful. We've also got Why Not with This Feeling again, so we're buzzing for that. And then we've got Beat Herder as well in a couple of weeks, which I think is up in like Lincolnshire or something. We've never been there before, and that's another festival that we're gonna get to play. So it's nice that we've got. This is the first time like we've managed to do like a couple of festivals in a row, which again is like another sort of stepping stone for us as a band. So it'd be nice to crack on and do all them throughout the summer. And then
I love festivals, but they tie me out so much. I've got to have like another week off work after. They're just
yeah. Tell me about it, man. I wish I had holidays to book this week off.
Yeah.
I think we're all still sort of like emotionally coming down from Isle of Wight. Like,
Definitely.
The weather was so good. The weather was beer drinking weather.
And did you see friends of the podcast, Sam Shiner and Megan Wynn and all gang?
Oh, we saw all of the above.
Did you?
in their
any stories you can tell us about them?
Well, the ones you named, Sam Shiner is just the salt of the earth. I absolutely love it to pieces. I love the hats, man. I was saying to her, like, how many hats? I imagine like you just walk through the doors and there's just hats like everywhere. Like that's how I imagine like Sam's house to be. But she's always there and she's always like buzzing and like happy to see us. And I'm like, yeah, I love Sam to pieces. And Megan's just a little gem. She's like a pocket singer. She's so small. I just want to boop her on the nose.
I love the community around This Feeling, people, because when we had you on at Gulliver's, Megan came to the gig, and it was the first time I'd met Megan in real life and said hello and that kind of stuff. It's just great to see everybody supporting each other in it.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's loads of bands over there. Like one of our favourites from sort of This Feeling sort of circle as well, like Fitzroy Holt. We had a great time with them as well.
Whoa! Did you say bunch. One of our favourites? One of our favourites.
The favourite.
Fitzroy Holt. Fitzroy Holt are the best people ever. There, I said it.
In what way?
They're just a bunch of absolute head cases, and I love them to pieces. They're so like musically talented as well. Like
I need to get involved with this band.
You just start speaking to them, they're just like normal brummy people who are just like tripping on mushrooms, and you're like, what? And then they like out of nowhere they just go on stage, and it's just like, what? Wow, okay. And then we've been every time we've seen them as well, we've been on after him, so we've been like, right, we got to follow this, but okay. And we just give it more beans because like, why not? But no, yeah, we absolutely love Fitzroy Holton's pieces. Yeah.
Any other highlights of bands that you saw over the festival that we can shout out and share the love and tell people to invest in?
I'll go and I'll let Ben give one as well in case unless Nick is. I think you did a podcast with him a while back, The Assist.
Yes,
they were really good. Like I didn't expect because I've not listened to their music properly, but like live they were proper on it. They were really good, so enjoyed them.
Nice.
I mean, we touched on him before, but Rosella's again, they were there. I love watching Rosella's every time I see them. I think the tunes are really cool. Like they're just really cool band, aren't they? The Chase as well. The Chase, proper upbeat vibe with the Chase. Great bunch of lads. Another a dark horse as well is that Ruby J. Ruby J.
Oh yeah.
You saw Ruby J, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like she's really good, man. I was like, some girl got on stage with a guitar, and then all of a sudden, everyone in the tent was like, "Who is this?" Because like she's really good. And and then we got chatting to her afterwards, and she was absolutely sound. But there's so many This Feeling, like honestly, God, like there's so much talent that just goes on in that small tent that you just literally like you can't. It's hard to pick and choose a few. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get it, lads, and we really appreciate you spending this evening, even though you're knackered after Isle of Wight. I know I get it, but it just shows that determination in the band just to get stuff done, and you know, even though you're knackered and you can't be asked, you've had work and that straight after Isle of Wight. You're still cracking, lads, and I just really appreciate you as a band, that you're out there in the world just cracking on. Can't wait to see what's coming up for the band as well. And obviously, if you're going to be in Sheffield for Tramlines on the Friday, come down to Frog and Parrot, Spangled. Let's get Spangled in Sheffield, eh?
Absolutely.
That's it. And bring a spare pair of socks as well, because we're about to blow them off.
Oh, right. You spoilt it. You did all right all the way through the interview then, and then you've spoilt it there, Ben, just with your rubbish humour.
Wait. I've got one more thing to say about Isle of Wight. You know, you can't run past the tents. Wait, I've said that wrong. You can't run there. You can only run because it's past tents.
Oh dear.
We can do this all night, Carl.
Let's just keep it quiet, Jimmy.
Sorry.
Tumbleweed.
I said it.
I'll edit in some
tumbleweed. Can we redo the podcast because I want to deliver that correctly.
Lads, really appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to share with the fans of Spangled just before we let you crack off and get on with your evening and do whatever you need to do?
Ben?
No, not really. Just like keep listening to our tunes and stay spangled, my dudes.
Yeah, man.
And thanks for having us as well, Carl. Like, we've been wanting to speak to you for ages, and we'll definitely need a couple of pints in Sheffield when we come to the Frog and Parrot.
It will be done. It will be done, fellas. It will be done. Cracking lineup. We've got you headlining OVS. Can't wait to push a pint in front of you both in a month's time. And yeah, good luck with everything. Good luck getting through this week, and then cracking on with the world. And
cheers, Carl.
See you soon. Cheers, lads.
Cheers, Carl.
Nice one.
Lovely.
Cheers, mate.
Nice one.
Oh, that all right.
Lovely.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll start with it. Yeah.
Cheers, lads. Anything on there that you don't want on there, or you want to change, or like that, apart from your joke at the end, spoiling it all about?
No, can you lead with that instead?
I'll start with it. That'll be the preview clip that I use on the promo for it. But it's coming out Monday. So I'll ping you stuff over, Jamie. I'll ping you stuff over. And yeah, thanks for your time, boys. Have a good night, and I'll see you in Sheffield. I'll get more gig information to you as soon as I know it. They're sorting the back line out for everybody, so you won't have to bring everything. I just don't know exactly what gear they've got yet, so I'll let you know as soon as I know, and we'll.
That'd be perfect, Carl.
Cheers,
nice
mate.
one.
Nice one.
Cheers.
Bye,
See you later.
Cheers, mate. See you soon.
In a minute.
Bye.